Mike's district office. Sure, what's the question? Okay, it is 12:35 p.m. on Tuesday, April 16, 2024. My name is Eric Cassidy. I call this Monteau Revitalization Committee meeting, the first of its kind, to order. Please.
Are you recording now, too?
I am.
Okay.
Yep. I'll start with a roll call here. Eric Cassidy's here.
Joe Mitchell's here.
Rich.
Rich Gibbles here.
And then,
Bob
Remotely.
Longier was a guest.
Mark Johansson is a guest.
great. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this up. And I'll start by opening up this discussion just with the purpose of this committee and what I think is the vision ahead. And obviously we can have discussion about what the vision is, but since this is an initial thought, we'll just start somewhere. My view is that we have a significant asset with desirable infrastructure to recreate a lucrative and fun recreational spot here for the community. I think we can, enhance, outdoor experience here with mountain biking, skiing, other amenities, hiking, disc golf, and beyond over at that area. I think that area could make itself its own money and pay for its own upkeep and renovations over time and give back to the community. That's the general feeling of what I think is going on here and why I want to start doing this. So that's the general vision so far, is a ski mountain, mountain biking trails, hiking trails, and just the overall what you get here in the White Mountains for fun and enjoyment outdoors. At this point, we have that one mountain biking event coming up that's kind of like our kickstart event to like build towards something going forward to get us on the map.
Which is tentative, hasn't been.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But so I believe that this committee was kind of originated to plan for that as a professionally held thing if we do it. So we advise the community how we would do it properly. And if we get it approved and move forward to do it, it will be done well and it'll put us on the map for income and future things, as well as we're talking to people about getting it going. And I can get into this more, we're going to spread the word and it's going to get more people involved and more interested of helping out. I've been talking a little bit here and there about this, and there's so many people in the local area that know those mountains, sport skiing or mountain biking trails. There's a ton of support in the Western White Mountains range, I would say, just based off everything I've been talking about since I was asked to chair this committee. So, at this point, does anyone have any questions going?
You, just a clarification, you're not the chair, you're the ex officio.
This is
Just
where I don't
yeah.
know formalities, so, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Mark said. Hopefully we can help ease the community and help answer their questions about what's developing.
Yes.
Kind of ease them, make them feel like they're being listened to and heard a little bit better with the developments. So then they're a little bit less concerned about what's going on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I think clearly communicating the view in a positive way, it shouldn't garner too much resistance. There may be a few, and then it's going to be up to the entire community to decide.
I just have a question on procedure. What was the reason we called it at 12:30 on a Tuesday?
The first two people that responded to me about joining the committee, who are not here right now, both said that was the right time for them to join.
Okay, so it came from the committee requests, okay.
Yeah, the emails that came in, I said, let me know when's good for you. And two people said middle of the day, Monday or Tuesday. And I said, okay,
Okay, clear
I'm
enough.
not gonna change that.
Well, whatever, I mean, it is what it is, but if they requested, they should attend, that's all.
I agree.
Too bad. Okay,
Okay,
Just a point, 12:30 in the middle of the day is a tough time to have a meeting.
yeah.
And,
it's a valid point. I was here, so when they said it, and I said, oh, I'm here on Tuesdays, let's do it, I get that, but it was the wrong thing. And Rich
Okay.
has to go in 15 minutes or so anyway.
Okay. But Joe and Rich are on the committee and you're ex officio, right?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm ex officio. I know Dave Long will be joining the committee. Diane Coed will be joining the committee. She's on Green Circle.
Okay,
Joey's here, which is great. I'm glad you showed up. And then we have Rich right now, and we also have Alex Fopiano, who was unfortunately in a business meeting right now.
okay, fine, okay.
So we'll get a better time going forward. So again, with the vision, we have the mountain biking, ski, and all the other amenities. And then, as part of this committee, I think we can talk about, the lodge itself as part of it. And as things build out and as we look at the whole picture, we may want to, plan ahead for, how, like maybe we already want to do a deck, but, a patio and other amenities that could really expand on like the enjoyment of that spot in the long-term future. I'll click over now and just go to the Eastern States Cup Committee task. Part of this committee, again, to kickstart the whole revitalization is to plan and advise the community on how to run that mountain biking event, the ESC Cup, or the Eastern States Cup race. I have a whole task list. I don't really think we should go over the entire thing, but I could send the whole thing out and we can comment and discuss on the entire concept. But what I've been trying to do is put a task list of everything that's our responsibility, everything that we need to make sure the race people would be handling as their responsibility. And then from there, we can kind of check each box off. And with this task list, I've made, let me see if I can make this a little smaller. Like that. I've made a checkpoint timeline all the way from now until October as to how I would want to see things unfold to make sure we're ahead of schedule on everything that we're trying to accomplish. If we want to run a professional, safe, happy event. I've got a budget here that I've been kind of playing with numbers. It's completely fake at this point, but it's like what I'm expecting. I haven't gotten quotes on everything. All this stuff, in fact, I've been working, just throwing in random things, so I wouldn't put anything on it, but estimated we could make something between 5 and 10,000 on a weekend if we do this right.
Hey, Dave,
We can go for, hey, Dave.
sit here, there, whatever.
Yeah, we can go, this is all preliminary, this is all before I even got real numbers to it, but there are some real numbers blended in with assumptions at this point. Rich says I think.
What's up, Rich? What's going on, buddy?
Good to see you.
You too, man.
When you get around to it, Eric, can you highlight the real numbers or mark?
Well, some
Mark what's
based
real
on
opposed to
projections, right? Like,
yeah.
you can't really, we know that the fee would be $30 per biker.
Right.
We know that there's between 100 and 200 bikers. So that's, and on and on. And if we wanted to do breakfast sandwiches from the rec committee, that's just speculations. We can make calls on everything from how much it's gonna cost to have an ambulance there, how much it would cost to have, these are just, it's just so preliminary at this point that I didn't make those calls.
Good start.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like everything we assume we're gonna spend on, everything we assume we could make money on, and let's see where it all kind of lands. If it's way above the positive number, that's a good start, and we should assume conservative on the income and high on the expenses to make sure we're still above the break even. I have a list of people I thought, Joe, I forgot your last name that day, Joe Mitchell. It was just, but it's Joey Mitchell. So I have a list of people who are, Susan Hearn is another person who couldn't make today. She's at Busch Gardens. Somewhere.
Yeah.
But she volunteered. So I've got a list of that. I've had a whole thing of questions we can look at and answer over time. And one thing I wanted to propose today was this emblem. I want to put this emblem up on trails. I would like to do different colors for different trails. If we're making mountain bikes, I figured the circle works. I could then also have these in different colors like squares for hiking trails on Monteau. The QR code brings you to the Mountain Bikes website, which I thought was like good for random people if they didn't know where they were.
Awesome. And a trail map could be on the website eventually. It's fantastic.
Absolutely, that's like, and you know, I thought of that later, like maybe I could have had just the QR code to the trail maps.
Yeah.
But at least maybe we'll have it right up at somewhere easy for people to find. And here comes Diane.
Is this, would this be in addition to Trail Blazes? Or
I think
would it be the trail
Blazing,
blaze?
you just tag these up,
Sorry.
make them permanent. Or we could either do some plastic. I just got here.
Thank you. Could have got here 5 minutes after me. Would have been nicer.
You're making me look good.
Hey Diane, how are you?
Sorry about that work stuff.
Have you met anyone in this meeting?
I'm Mark, Commissioner.
Mark,
Joe on your committee.
hi, Joe.
We met.
We have Rich behind the screen there.
That's Rich Gibble up on the screen.
He owns on Lakeside. We have another woman, Susan, who couldn't make it, and another guy named Alex who couldn't make it today. So that makes 1, 2, 3, 6. 6 people plus me on the committee now.
On your signs there, did you come up with a source for this?
I've gotten a few different quotes, metal and plastic.
Yep.
And I'm just kind of looking at them right now.
Sure.
And you know, I thought this was something that the committee should decide on, you know, this emblem as a trailblazer.
Can you make that that QR code so that it goes to a website that will be, so it will be the trails on our website, and then for the time being, that page would just automatically forward to our homepage until we get that page built?
That's a brilliant idea, and yes.
I knew I came for a reason.
Me,
You
Joe.
can leave now.
No, that's a really good idea, I like that. I mean, we should have a QR code, I like this emblem with our website on it, but for the trailblazers, I
Yeah.
think that's really good.
Yeah,
It came from Joey. I just expounded on it.
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
and that's why we all meet as a team,
That's
because
right.
I think this is definitely a really good temporary solution too.
And I think you could probably make the QR codes the same colors as the things so that it's not black and stands out. Like to have it be green or orange or red or whatever, so that it matches.
yeah, depending on who we use as a vendor, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on my idea last meeting.
Yeah. Oh, see?
There you go.
So we're on this building. We're building on
You're just
it.
regurgitating, that's all.
Because usually whenever I have something printed, if you could do it in one color, it's usually less expensive than when you do things with multiple
Yeah.
colors. So if we got orange signs, just do orange and whatever.
So you know, again, with formalities, I don't know how we make decisions and advise on stuff like this and when we spend money, but I just wanted to know if this was an acceptable idea for a trailblaze marker.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay,
I agree.
so if there's no other,
So,
you know, ideas on that, then we'll keep pushing forward and getting quotes and seeing what that looks like, yeah.
How many trails do we have? Maybe you know better, Dave, how many,
There's 5 mountain biking trails?
there's 5?
Yeah, there's 6, right? Because there's 2 uphills and 4 downhills.
Oh, okay. You know what I was doing was, I said 5 because 2 of them are red, but those are the 2 separate uphills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Eastern have any requirements as to what they would want to have at an event?
That's what they want.
That's what they want, 6 trails?
They want, well, they say 1 uphill, but we need 2 uphills to get to the trails.
One of the
And they
trails
want,
is
or do
on,
they do
but
5?
that's probably the caveat here is one of them's on Richard Moulton's property.
Right.
And on our task list, if we go back to the timeline, we have something already, you know, we want to have an operating agreement with Mr. Moulton to make sure that there's not gonna be a snag at the end of the day. Where
Absolutely.
he's like, oh, I changed my mind or something like that, you know.
That is not something that's in our purview.
We,
That is up to the
ESC.
racers to,
ESC to get
yes,
that on the
we've got
contract.
our contract and.
Right. Okay, and
there
that's
been-
probably actually somewhere,
Has there been anything verbal with
yes.
him?
From what I've heard, according to some of the people that are working with ESC already.
Cool.
They've talked to that landowner already. And he seemed agreeable at the time, according to Anthony.
Yeah.
People.
Hey there,
Hi there.
can I help you?
This is a bad time.
Not at all.
What's up?
Okay, no, I'm trying to do a building permit and I just wanted to check. Just wanted to check in.
Do you have the starter packets? Packet to get going, get rolling?
Maybe.
Let's go, we'll help them out here.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I can
No
come
worries.
back.
We're doing a meeting, but it's okay. I think
No,
us
I'm interrupting you.
can help you right now. I think Mark
You
will.
know,
No worries.
And then out of curiosity, those 6 trails, how does that compare to how many ski trails used to be there?
So they are completely separate of the ski trails, but there was 6 ski trails as well.
Okay, cool. I was just curious on
And I
that.
think they're kind of cut through the woods, not exactly on the ski trails. Because I asked some of the people that have been working the mountain bike trails and riding them past, I said, if I clear cut all these ski trails back, do I destroy your mountain biking? He says it has no effect.
Awesome.
He said it might even add better, so that's good.
should get.
So I was just pulling up that map that, so there's 5.
It's just,
There's 5 downhills and 2 uphills.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why it's not.
And one of them would be on,
what is it, Dave?
what's that?
I'll give you a sense of where they are.
Oh, I don't know. I have it saved in my drive. We can,
Is that that's on your drive? Did you send that to me? Or drive? Because I was just looking for that to put it up on the screen.
So this would be the other, that's
yeah.
what I understand
Do
anyway.
you should be on both that. If you open up Drive
No
on either of
delineation
your
from our
accounts and
property
just
there.
search for trail map.
Dave, if you send that to me,
Yeah.
I'll put it up on, if you send it to MLD admin, I'll put it up on the screen for everyone.
Should be coming at you.
While we're kind of just fiddling around, I want to say that I've been in touch with a number of people. The president of Mount Eustis, which is a community mountain that was started a few years back with Littleton. I've been connected to some people in Cannon Mountain, some people at the Cank down in Lincoln. I've been connected to some snowmaker people in Franconia. I'm gonna not be able to explain it all. The overwhelming response from, I've been reaching out to certain mountain bikers, mountain bike operators or business owners up in Littleton and so on. The overwhelming response from people is they know about this mountain, they can't wait to get on it with their bikes. And whoever's not a mountain biker but a skier, same thing. They remember, they've heard stories of it, there's just like this kind of vibe and energy where it's like, let's see that again, and so all I've been doing is getting positive feedback from the greater community right now, and tons of offerings of support. How do I help you? Let me know what we can do from our end. So some of the mountain bikers just say, come ride these trails and comment on it like soon, so that by the time October comes, we know they're perfectly, groomed and maintained for the races. One of the guys even texted me, said, I've been dreaming about the trails on your mountain since I saw them the first time. Apparently there was a revitalization prior to my time here.
Yeah.
Some people got invited then. Some of these people I've already connected with, and they're like I said, they've been dreaming. So.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple of the owners here and they're like, really? I can't wait to get on my bike on it. Where, can you send me, how do I get the information?
It's fun. It's
So basically said it'll be on the website shortly.
right. Yeah, and someone just told me when I was getting my mail and said, "Oh, you're doing that thing. That's just I can't wait to see what you guys do. This is what we need." And I hear that all the time now that this has been communicated even a little bit. So that's a good thing.
Everybody's used to her.
Did that
So
come through?
while I got you guys here and Rich still here, and he's got to leave in a minute. what time and date going forward for like our future meetings would be better than June 30? I know you have Little League, Dave.
Yep. I mean, I would say weekend or,
Is anyone opposed to weekends, Rich? Are you opposed to a weekend?
I mean, I try as much as I can to be up there on weekends.
Yeah. Oh, there's that. Where did that come from?
I just put up the,
Ninja. Zoom
Or can
Ninja.
I make this
you
big?
can make that bigger, yeah. There
So
you go.
here's the trail. Here's the trails. I don't know if you can see it.
You can, close down that, distance thing, the screen, it'll make it a little bit bigger.
Top right. That just kicks everybody off the meeting.
I don't know why it's doing that. There we go. So the reds are the uphill for this. One uses skiway road and then continues on. We're gonna need to, communicate with whoever's up on skiway that they don't block the road or anything.
If you talk with him, you know him, Joe, Recchio, is it?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah,
They blocked it off for mud season. You see that they had it
Yeah, I saw
roped
that.
off and it just said for mud season.
Yeah.
I just don't want people driving up there, which I get.
Yeah.
He takes care of the road, so.
So the red, blue, green, yellow, orange is all on our land. The red, purple is Moulton's, from what I understand.
A question that I will have for Anthony now that we're talking about it is what additional trails do we have that we can build out, on our own? Because if this ESC, I think it was 5, they wanted 5 trails because they do 5 different heats.
Yeah.
So that's where he came up with the number and that's why he built it out like that.
Before Rich goes, I want to say Rich had an idea a long time ago that to contact Granite Backcountry. Joey also mentioned it. I followed up a few times in emails. They finally responded saying, sorry, they were busy. And their main head contact was away until 2 days from now. That said, they had significant interest coming to Monteau to clear the ski trails back. Apparently, you told me, Joe, that 70 plus people will come out, and same with Rich mentioned, they'll come out, and all they want to know is that they can skin up later, meaning ski up the mountains to come down. And from what I understand, even if they clear, they'll be agreeable to a small fee later to use the mountain continuously forevermore kind of thing. And I think if we did have a full working, some kind of working thing going there someday, I don't think there's any reason why we couldn't tell them.
Allow skinning.
I see it at every mountain now anyway. They're all planning for it. It's kind of a new athletic concept that people are doing more and more of. So we should just be open to it now, especially while we don't have the equipment to get it over there anyway, so that some people can enjoy it. What are you having that?
It's 10 years old.
What's
It's
that?
newer in the scheme of the world, but it's been going on for a while.
It's a newer trend, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, there's other ways to get people here. There's me.
Sorry, he's gotta go.
Okay.
And well, what I was going to say was there's a couple other hills nearby. There's one on Sugar Hill, and there's one, I think it's called the Pike Glades. That
I've seen that sign.
that was me. Sorry. That we could kind of look to as case studies. They try to do everything they call sustainably. They don't cut down. They only cut down what they have to, that type of thing. So that was my motivation for suggesting them. They kind of come out with an army of people that all follow the direction of some people who have sort of, I'll use air quotes and say, forestry experience. So they're not just clear cutting entire areas. They're kind of doing it with some intelligence behind it. And I've used a couple of the trails on days when there's been a lot of people out there, and nobody leaves trash. Nobody, people will have a picnic at the top, ski down, skin up, picnic at the top, and just repeat all day. And I never saw any abuse or littering or anything like that. The worst thing that happens is there's traffic, car traffic.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the trade-off if we want to have people here. It's gotta be vehicles to get them there.
And I will just say, like, I'm not concerned about the traffic, but that did seem like one of the biggest public concerns was the traffic on that road, and
Absolutely,
we
yeah.
got to figure out how to balance that
I'm
out.
actually live in that area, which is
Oh,
why I'm on this committee.
It's on that street too.
Yeah.
I'm right there.
Thing.
So I am concerned about the traffic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I think it makes
Go ahead.
sense for the road too, with the infrastructure of the road. So I can understand why you have that concern, Diane.
Yeah.
Team, thank you so much for letting me participate on this. I look forward to other ones when I'm not bouncing around work.
Yes.
Thank you, Rich.
Rich, give me give me 30 seconds if you got it. No?
Okay.
Okay, we just need to name a chair. I think we should just name, if anyone's opposed, I would name Dave, or who wants to be chair?
Takers.
everybody line right up.
Everyone in agreement?
Sounds good.
I
Is that okay?
Sorry, Dave.
Thanks, buddy.
like a pirate.
Hey, thanks again so much, guys.
Thank you.
See you, Rich.
See
Bye,
you,
guys.
Rich.
See you this weekend.
So,
You want to take that thing down and do it?
yeah, we can go back to my agenda or whatever. Is anyone, well, before I'll just say one more thing and then we can open up to questions as well. In my efforts so far with communicating to the outside world, I've reached out to as many in a 100-mile radius as I could, as many ski mountains and operators and everything I could find so far, and it's an ongoing thing, and things take time. I think I might have my hands on a magic carpet that we could get for free, donated to the community. I have a idea that we might have a snowmaking pump and one snow fan that I've located. I haven't heard back yet, but these are like the things I'm trying to see. The goal, in my opinion, would be to try to use goodwill and accrue as much as we can of value to put there. And then at some point, we need to figure out how the operations of the actual system would work. I don't think it can be community operated because I don't know if we have enough people here, but I think there could be like a partnership between an operator and the community. So that there's gonna be some kind of fee that comes back to us if we can operate it.
Sure.
But that's just where I'm at, where if we can start building it, someone will come run it and the money will flow in. That, from that perspective of things. The last thing I'll say is, I've kind of blended it. We have an event that we wanna plan and advise on, and then we have a mountain that we wanna build out, not only for that event, for future events and general usage for today's population. So with that, does anyone have any other questions or wanna talk about their ideas or?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, this is an event to kind of, the ESC event is like the jump start, you know, like if we can all kind of get our heads together and get the volunteer effort so that we get everything cleaned up, beautified, so that the lodge is ready, you know, for this event. And then after that, you know, like once the bed is made, you know, it makes life a lot easier for future events and just general usability of that lodge. I think, I mean, it's been talked about, we've all talked about it, the diamond in the rough that is this lodge on that mountain that's sitting there that's just completely underutilized. So I think anything that we can do to bring that back to life, it's going to improve all of our property values here, improve the value of that lodge, and just make Mountain Lakes that much better of a place, you know. There's the beauty of the mountain bike scene in the ski world is that you turned it into a 12-month destination.
Right.
You know, you're no longer with the winters that are tough and, you know, having to do the grooming and the snowmaking and all that stuff. I think that was the demise of Monteau, right? That's why it all went down, because they couldn't keep up with the demand with the snowmaking. But mountain biking is easy. All you need is ground and rubber.
A lot of ski mountains at this point feel that the mountain biking side of things is where they make their money.
Yeah.
You got the hat on right there. You look at Burke Mountain. I mean, they get way more people there to mountain bike than they do to
So,
ski.
and on that note, with mountain biking, not only should we have these downhill, but some across,
Right.
you know, cut, that makes it easier, not such a treacherous run.
Right.
enjoyable.
Well, that's what, on that trail there, you know, and that's a good thing to talk to Anthony, because he's been all over that mountain,
Yeah.
and see if we can create some of these, you
I've
know?
also talked to some of the guys that say they've been dreaming of those trails, are trail builders themselves.
Perfect, cool.
And they want to be here, and they're like Littleton, Franconia, wherever they are.
Yeah.
The other thing making it safer for all levels of riders
Right.
is if the snow is not great, it can still be used longer season. We don't have to just say summertime or,
Oh, yeah.
you know, just spring and summer. I mean, spring is wet season. We probably don't want craziness, but it would build out more of that.
Things like disc golf is another thing that could be there for other people. I'm not into that, but I do see that on all these types of nature events, and that just brings in more happy users.
Eric, I'm going to bring something up, and
Yes,
I just
please.
want to back up what Dave was saying about the mountain and why the demise of the mountain. It was run ineffectively because the district was running it, and you had people over time that were running it, and then they'd step down, and then somebody else would come and run it. There was times when they were sending people down to Lincoln when they were crowded down there saying, you know, the overflow up here. The district is not structured for a long-term thing like this.
I agree.
And that's why it failed. I wasn't involved with it. I used to take Dave down there and drop him off skiing down there back in the day. So I wasn't involved when it all got closed up. I think I was living on the West Coast when that happened. So it's just something that to keep in mind. This is not something that the district has long-term capabilities.
We
to,
need someone who's a
to run.
professional operator that can do this, and I agree with that. And the only thing I think from our standpoint is to try to attract the best operator for that. I think it'd be, and get the most pennies back to Mountain Lakes, is to try to do as much as we can with the asset that we have, you know, through volunteership and donation and all that, and then see where we get to, and then sign some kind of agreement, a 50-50 split or whatever that kind of agreement is, where they run it and give us something back.
And what you're doing is you're talking about really down the road.
I mean, so down the road.
You really got to focus on this event
Yeah,
and then.
that's what I
look
was
at
saying, where we have like
next
this
event.
event, and then we have the total
Yeah.
package over here, and I almost think it's like two different meetings, you know, but, you
Yeah,
know.
because this event is going to come up on us before you know it. And,
Yeah, and that's why we have this whole, you know, timeline of like to-do checklists.
Yeah.
One of the first things I need to do is to, what I should have said last time, is to make a motion in the commissioners meeting to accept fees online. That way we could start, you know, if one of the big contentious points I saw in the meeting was the concept of camping overnight for this, like the bikers wanna come practice on Saturday, ride on Sunday, sleep over that one night and not leave the area, you know? They would pay for that, we could sell them sandwiches in the morning, breakfast sandwiches, it could be more and more money for us. But one of the things I was thinking was if we made a motion to accept fees on the internet through our website, we could direct anyone from the ESC that's interested in signing up to click a button and say, we're planning on, you know, we're paying our camping fee now or whatever. And hear me out, just so that we would have an idea of like what that number would be.
Okay, what we need to do is sign a contract with them first.
Absolutely.
And what we committed at not the last meeting, the meeting before that, is that we're gonna have the committee, and the committee was gonna come up and look at the different issues and stuff like that, and come to some kind of a resolution with those, so that we can present it to the public, and then we can have that thing signed, and then we'd be able to reach out.
Okay.
After that, I wouldn't wanna be reaching out to them prior to.
Prior to, right, okay. So then, you know, the other part of this is, when we say, so that would be getting into like our committee tasks here. You know, we could secure an agreement. Apparently, you're saying that that should be on, I'll move that into the ESCs, the first one, with Molten. I'll put that under, you know, the races.
And I have talked to them about that and said, you know, that's something that we can't do in our contract, that does not list that. And I talked with George about that and just said, you know, not George, Anthony. and Anthony was gonna get to George about it, and say, yeah, if you guys wanna work something out with him, that's on you, that's not, we're just.
And these are all people through
That's
ESC, right? George and Anthony.
Yes,
Through them.
yeah, yeah.
And
Right.
so that, yeah, we don't wanna be dealing with other people's property and
understood,
working with
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
And in tandem, it'll probably only work better if we have the Molten Trails, so we want to make sure he's on board.
We do, but we're saying maybe we need to communicate with ESC to make sure
They're aware.
they're doing that.
And that unlocks a lot of potential for us down the road if it is successful partnership
Right,
with that property. So that's exciting that they're moving forward with that for us.
one other thing down the road, I know I'm bouncing around here, and I didn't say it before, but a pump track for mountain bikers is another nice, are you familiar? Where it's like hills in a circle, so you never have to pedal. So that could be put down there someday as another amenity. These are all, what I'm thinking of down the road after, if we have a successful event, we got money, and then we can do that.
Cart before the horse.
I know. You gotta have the vision to get there. So anyway, regarding this, we need to create an aerial map, I know that, of like a design of like where we would park people, where we would camp people, and advise the community how we would have it under control. I think that's what Bob's trying to say for us.
Right, so Dave, I had a couple ideas on that, so when the committee comes together, I actually have done some more tent sites for us,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and I don't know if you want to explain that to Bob, I would love his opinion on that.
Okay, so the day of the eclipse, I walked over to the lodge, down the lodge road, and I don't know what their names are, I can't remember, they told me. But the people own that big lot that's all fenced.
Belanger,
The Belangers? or-
Yeah.
John Belanger, yeah.
Yeah, John, yeah, that sounds right. Sweet people, very nice. Told them about the event, what their thought was, because they're right there, and they're like all excited about it.
That's great.
And I said, we're gonna open up some of the campsites that have overgrown, et cetera, and whatever. And he goes, you can have people tent here if you want. So I would open my land for this event, not for forever, because he's working on building a house, but he said, I would have no problem on that. And he goes, if it's something for building, and improving the clubhouse, poorly needed,
That's like a form of volunteerism I appreciate, I just don't know.
right.
All right, let me just bring up something that come up. There's somebody that was dead set against camping, and they live in the A-frame down there. And I told her,
The green car
Just a
truck
couple-
one, the
Yes,
one that's the
I
one.
told her a couple of years ago that there would be no camping on that lot unless he was building it. And that's it. So I don't think it would be a good idea for
Okay.
us to say, let's use them. I think we'd just be asking for,
Unless we talk to her again, see if she has a different part, because it's not just camping and plomping, it's,
That brings up the bad sores though, right? The topic about camping on land, right?
yeah.
So what did you guys end up finding out about camping on Mountain Lakes Lodge?
We have the ability to allow camping on district land.
Okay.
So
Not privately owned land.
Not private, it'll.
District owned.
District owned.
privately owned land is covenant in our covenant or ordinances that somebody can camp there while they're building their house.
Up to 6 months.
yeah, but not, yeah.
So for us to say, okay, we can let him open that up for something like that.
But it couldn't be opened up for anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
Just brainstorming with people.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was free. pretty-
Yeah.
My
glad that
thinking too
they're
is that
excited.
someone over here is gonna be like, oh, for 1 weekend, I'll just let people camp, and then it becomes a shit show, so I kind of think.
Or
it's-
maybe it's where the food trucks plop. He's got electricity already to the site, he said. Or I think he does.
He does not have a.
Not yet, okay, okay.
The poles are down there.
Oh, that's right, he's talking about the electricity poles and what, okay.
That's how the polls are. So that's another thing that we're talking about doing for this event, is bringing in food trucks. That's another
Mike, you
thing.
wanna finish up on that camping thing? That's a critical one.
Yeah. So did the commissioners open up camping on that land for this event exclusively, or for what? Like, how is that?
That would be exclusively for
this event.
And
Is that
and that's the thing that this committee's gotta designate how many camping areas.
Okay.
And,
For the
We need,
commissioners.
like I said, we need an aerial map now of the whole like area from the lodge and the ball field and wherever. There's a campground on the maps that exists and it's already cleared. It's just kind of brushed in and we could open it a little bit back up. So there was some kind of camping that existed in the past and it was allowable. It's just, I agree that I don't think we should do it on private land because that opens up the can of.
Right.
So this committee needs to advise on that
Where we-
land before the commissioners vote to agree camping for that event.
Right, right.
and I know Dave's done some work on that.
Yeah, did you ever see that, the Google Earth link that I sent you?
I don't think so, but I could send it in and.
Well, it looks like somebody might be waiting in the waiting room.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah, you did send it on your mailings. Eric,
Pull it up.
Dave sent it in his response to the first meeting. It was an attachment in there, if I could remember. See if I can find it.
What?
Is it somebody that's gonna be flashing,
Watch,
inappropriate?
yeah, watch who you let in there.
I know, it's a 603 number.
Did you hear about that at the commissioners meeting?
Yes.
Got excited.
I'm still hesitant, but we do need,
Dave, what's your email?
Dave Long,
So I will see if I do. No, I'm just trying to do a search
yeah, Dave Long 603@gmail.
to my Ling. I just renamed you.
I don't know how to, ask them if they.
You know what, I put in an outside folder, so that's why it's not.
That's a landline. That's all right, they might just wanna listen.
That's fine, yeah. So an aerial map of the entire,
Keep your
like,
head looking this way, in case something pops up. It was disgusting.
it
I
was,
would have probably put it up, so it's not a problem.
it was awful.
Yeah, that's,
You heard
I heard.
So we need an aerial map of like a design of where we would station everything for that event, so that people can just understand where things.
Do you know the tag on it there?
Oh, yeah.
I've got my
Yeah.
date when it was sent. You just sent that to me. not too long ago.
And ESC doesn't offer any of that work.
What's that?
It's
The,
linked to your
Map building.
tab 156.
it's our asset to decide with. We tell them, like they can't come to us and it's kind of like it's a different, the cell phone guy. We gotta tell them, like,
Find it.
Yep.
you find it?
I did. I'm gonna put it up on the screen now.
This is like the 10,000-foot view, just kind of an
Yes.
overview.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do my drone.
It needs to
soon.
get fine
I'll do
tuned.
my drone soon so we can work with that
Right.
one too.
You get rid of that stuff on the top, you just did that.
Hit the dash on that. All the way on the left. Left.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
So basically, each thing is kind of color coordinated and shows a potential parking areas, potential camping areas, the tennis courts, which we can utilize for something, I was thinking
That, I was just pulling that down, Dave, so you can see. That's the actual,
that's the campground, quote unquote.
So that's Mountain Lakes land.
The green one, yeah, yep.
but the issue with that is that's actually the septic system for the lodge.
The leach
The
field.
leach field. So we can't let anyone drive in there, but we could
Could
walk.
it can't,
Your tent camps.
tents and stuff.
So that's what, if you click on that,
They only need it for taxation purposes.
yeah, like it just shows as tent camping. So the green is kind of all potential camping areas. I was thinking the ball field would be good for more car camping. They say they'll get a lot of those like ProMaster,
Yep.
camper van kind of things. Figure those could all park in that area.
The orange is just general park.
Orange is just day parking kind of thing, and then we're going to need parking for our tent campers as well. So if we can kind of utilize the sides of the roads there. I was curious about those people on the corner there. That's great, Diane, that you were able to talk to them, because we'll probably end up, having people parking
Parking
along
in
the
front of
side of
it.
the road.
The camping that you have near the clubhouse,
Yep,
kind of not a fan of that, because that seems to be where most of the people will be hanging, and I'm not sure if we're gonna need that area for something else.
sure.
Close to it.
Front of the clubhouse?
Like
That right there.
that, the U-shaped one,
Yeah,
That's parking, isn't it?
no, that's tent, green is tent, right?
if you
Right
could,
there.
to the right, the green
Oh,
area.
the green one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, right there. You can't even see it, can you?
Right here.
right there.
Right there.
You're on it. That might
The
be-
green on
that might
green
be
is tough when you're colorblind, isn't it?
I bet.
I had,
That might be better as parking. So this is the stuff we need to look at
Right.
and figure out.
right.
Interesting. Okay.
Don't start changing things into metric system on me.
Yes, if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
car camping, it's vans and bigger things possibly, and it blocks the visual look of coming into the, property too,
Sure.
coming into that area. It's almost like
And that's essentially a hill right there closest to the clubhouse too. So it wouldn't be a good spot.
I mean, this was just the preliminary for us to kind of dig into, so.
Yeah, so one of the other
You know,
questions,
even like the food trucks right around.
What's that? What's that purple?
That's the water bike station, the bike cleaning station
Oh, cool.
for the event.
spray,
Yeah.
blue is ambulance. I figured ambulance setup would be good right there. Quick in and
What's
quick
the other
out.
blue?
The other blue here, I had it listed just as vendor space. I wasn't sure, this roughly maps out to his 40 by 50 that they want for their,
Registrations.
yeah, registration, where they do their awards and their ceremony and where he sets up his equipment. But I wasn't sure about, because he had originally mentioned, that there was other vendors that are gonna wanna set up. So I figured maybe if we took this line and ran it down here, and then like all of this area turns into your vendor space. And then that opens up, I mean, this slopes the whole way, but we could utilize it for something
Maybe tent camping there and the vendors around and the food trucks around the U.
around in here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even if we like drew a line here or
Need
something,
the rest parking.
right?
I think we might be able to get a little more money from the vendors if they have more frontage for the people. When
Right.
they're up there, they're blocked in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Yeah, I think turning this into the hub and kind of opening it all up as opposed to trying to cram it over there, I think that's a good call. That was just the red line. We figure we'll just block off for nobody can drive in, right? Like it just, and maybe that needs to be back here at the end of parking or whatever, but that's
think,
just
yeah.
something to consider,
I
like,
think that whole, the left side of the U should be all parking now.
yeah,
All the way up.
Yeah.
cool.
And then the tennis courts, we talked about tables for picnic or eating.
Right.
It's really not as much space there as you think it is either.
No, but I think if we like did a good mowing or clearing down.
That's true, yeah.
We could easily,
Yeah.
I work for, I manage
Those
a parking company for
white
3 years.
sprayers that walk away after a period of time, so we can log the lines and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we use those on the baseball fields all the
Yeah,
time.
Use the line or whatever.
So that was just, like I said, that was just kind of a quick, I walked it all off. The other area is up in here, where I was telling you where the old building was. Did you end up walking up there?
I know that spot.
It's wet, and I just don't know if it stays wet all year. It does,
I
right?
would say it does.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our dog park where people go to walk their animals.
I don't know if I've ever seen that spot very dry.
Dry, right?
Depends on the season though.
Well, it's
Get it
funny, because
dry.
I was looking at that and I'm like,
If anything,
man,
after the summer into the fall is the driest.
Right.
So,
but to berm that off somehow and utilize this spot right here for that pump track, again, looking forward. But like, that's a spot.
so fun. I think that'll be, that's like, what I think of about, again, we're bouncing around.
Environmentalist, that could be an
It's all about
environmentalist.
getting the kids and the families
pond and
to have a
water
good
running
time
and-
outdoors,
100%,
year round.
100%.
Good for mental health, good for physical health, good for the wealth of the community.
I mean, I just question though, is there a need for, will there be a need for a maintenance shed in the future again, like that was there?
Right.
What was
I don't
that?
know where you would put it, like a maintenance shed in the future.
But that would be our
That's
expert, we get higher, would
where
give us
one
that
was.
Right.
information, help us, well, advise us before decisions are
Yeah,
made.
in the future, I would love to bring in the president of Mount Eustace as a, like consultant, if you will, to
Sure.
talk to us. She knows everybody, she's got so many ideas and, like she's told me, like as excited as she was about Mount Eustace when she saw what Monteau is and
Yeah.
could be, she's like, holy shit, you guys have
Potentially, yeah.
so much
Yeah.
more
Oh, yeah.
potential.
Just the lodge alone, just having that as
Sea
a,
trails, there's 6 of them.
yeah,
The mountain biking we can do, we already have the infrastructure
Sure.
and the old snowmaking ability. I have no idea where it's at, but I think
Yeah.
that could be like.
That's something
No,
that Eustis
only
doesn't
did-
have.
What's that?
That's something that Eustis doesn't have.
They only
Snowmaking.
opened one time last year. They get so much grant money and community money, they opened one time. We could be open as much as we want if we had that snowmaking, you know what I mean? And so that's a whole nother thing, but that's how we make money.
Snowmaking will only get you so far, especially with how bad this winter was.
right.
But still, like you could open up, like if it was
Even
funded.
if it's a small hill, sorry, even if it's a small hill,
Yeah.
you just got the
Everybody-
kids tubing and coming
Exactly.
down off the magic carpet and maybe a rope dope someday on
I
a
agree.
small hill, and we were guaranteed that for kids, like that could be.
So if we go back to what we're working on now,
Yes,
that lady at the Mount Eustace, does she know the people, or maybe you know them at the outdoor club in Littleton? They ride a lot off of,
What outdoor club are you talking about? Parker Mountain?
yeah, I've been talking to one of the guys who.
maybe they'll wanna come ride and give us some ideas of what we can do. Maybe they can ride, come up and ride the trails
That's
here.
what I've been inviting everyone to ride the trail
Okay.
already.
Give us- Okay,
Yep,
And please let me know if you're looking for those extra resources that I was telling you about, or those extra spots I was telling you about. So like northeast slopes in Corinth,
yeah, I wanna talk to everyone.
Granite Gorge down near Keene, and then I was just thinking about the biking stuff. Cooley Jericho Forest, which is Amanuset Conservation Trust.
Yeah,
They have really good mountain biking trails at Cooley Jericho Forest in Easton. So they're great to reach out to as well.
yeah, all these, every ounce of help or, intelligence that we don't have with ourselves or yet, you know what I mean? Like,
Definitely.
so many people have a step above us in some kind of experience that like, I've never opened up biking or any kind of mountain before and other people have.
Yeah.
They know what to do, and so.
so and some of these areas that you're mentioning might be some place that as we work through this, and we open up our mountain biking website or portion of our website, we could list some of those, so people can understand that this is just not like a pipe dream that someone has, that there's tons of other people that have done this before and we're using them and they can go use it. I mean, I come, my parents like, I'd like to do this, but there's like not one resource for certain
Yeah,
things.
do it all.
Yeah, where I can go to do this.
Local amenities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
There's also a Linden Outing Club that's up near St. Johnsbury. Tenny Mountain is kind of newer or reopened.
Just newly opened, yeah.
Yeah, so I was gonna reach out to those people as well. While I'm gonna get off topic again, I would wanna say, I think we should in that area, just as a side note, solar lights for the tennis courts, timed, go on a couple of hours a night, so people could use that night. Tennis court, and maybe someday the basketball court, just another idea for the amenities. I think people like who have day jobs, come home, might get dark too early, and they would love to be out there for the last hour of the day, I think that's just another thing, that's for the future, but I'm looking.
did you talk about volunteers yet?
Not entirely, I mean, I went over.
No, it's that new business, that's trail volunteers, I was thinking more logistic, helping get ready volunteers.
Yeah, I think volunteership will come easy once we have a clear plan to like act on and approved on.
So if I know someone that lives on French Pond Road, but is not part of Mountain Lakes, but is interested in volunteering,
We will take all the manpower help.
she will run the volunteer force.
What's that?
She said she'd run the volunteer force.
Yeah, okay. Right.
I'll just, when we get closer to that, Charlene, the one who sells the eggs, she runs a lot of,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have her last name somewhere.
Well, it is up to Mountain Lakes to make decisions, we own it.
Yes.
But I don't think anyone is gonna say no to volunteerism.
Right.
If they're aligned with where we're going eventually, if we've all agreed where we wanna go, and people wanna help, I have no trouble, and I don't think anyone.
So we'll need a volunteer waiver.
That's a great point.
I think we should, reach out to Haverhill Conservation Commission though,
Yes,
and just see if there could be a way to partner on some trail maintenance,
yep.
with them.
Who did you say that was, Joe?
Haverhill Conservation
Sherry
Commission
is really good too with the rec department.
with Parks and Rec, yep. Yep.
Talk to her at some point.
So glad I just have a carpenter's pencil to take note.
You the chair now?
Huh?
Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Long term, I just mentioned the lights. I would love to see lights on that hill. You know, the ski hill for the kids at night. We can
And
do-
speakers.
What's that?
And speakers.
Speakers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a better thing too, like when small mountains can't be open quite as often because of maybe
Bad weather.
bad weather, operating constrictions, all that stuff. When you can open up for night skiing, which isn't very common on big mountains anymore, like that just opens up so much more potential and really gets the people to flock in.
Yeah, I really think this asset, like the mountain and the lodge, like could be paying for itself, paying for its repairs, paying for more things in the community. And like I heard a question, like could it become direct? So, you know, I don't think the money would like filter right back to like each household.
Sure it will.
would reduce
Eventually it would.
Reduce the weight of what we all need to pay to fix things if there's like 100,000 or more of income annually, or, you know, I'm just
Yeah,
ballparking that, but you know.
Water infrastructure.
that's what I was thinking. It could lower taxes, but
The
it could lower local.
the reserve
local
items.
taxes, but it definitely could lower maybe the water.
All the costs of the future that are gonna increase tax, you know, like that's what we're thinking, like, this is just gonna make life more
When you need,
affordable for us here.
when we need a new pool, all of a sudden it isn't such a daunting task, right? If there's money in the coffers.
Right.
So what do we need to get done in order to satisfy the commissioners so that they can move forward?
You mentioned the contract.
I think the contract, I wish he was still here. I thought he was gonna send that off to George already. The contract, as it was rewritten after it went through like the insurance lawyer and the regular lawyer.
Yeah,
It got all the legalese put to it.
Make the money.
Yeah.
Then there's, one thing could make a huge difference, so that's,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
I'm just looking at our timelines here, and I could add something, I'm not gonna add it on this computer because it's not the right one, but we could just add something like, get formal, that's a great point, it has to be, the contract has to be agreed upon and signed,
Right.
so that we can get going. I think it'd be great if Bob and Mark would step back in there, so we could talk to them about that.
Yeah, people trying to build houses.
Yeah, so, all this, I'm happy to email out to everyone so we can review, comment, and finalize what I think would be our timeline, our budget, a list of volunteers. There's questions in here, I don't know if we wanna look into, things, for example, like that day, like could we just have 2 cans of beer and charge $5 each, and I understand a little alcohol may make things rowdier, but it also could bring in a significant amount of, another $1,000 in sales or something like that. That's actually kind of a lot of money for us.
Just,
How can we legally fundraise donations? I wanna,
I just did. It didn't happen. It didn't come in. Sorry.
whenever you,
We're having a second meeting here.
yeah, apparently.
it should pop up with a link.
QR code,
Yeah,
just tap on the screen.
there you
There
go.
it is.
The yellow one.
Yeah, no, the yellow didn't come up.
Oh.
Okay,
I think it,
all right, it's not gonna happen, sorry.
So one thing I think needs to happen with this committee eventually, I don't exactly, this is so preliminary, but I think somehow we need a outside the committee or outside the community nonprofit formed. The nonprofit for the mountain could receive grant money.
Sure.
The community can't, but the nonprofit can.
That's what I was gonna suggest, is even before we get an operator, because getting an operator is gonna be really challenging. We put up a system like what Mount Eustis has put together, where businesses can donate money and sponsor, and you have a
Right.
fledged nonprofit that really operates it and works it. And
I don't know how to do that yet, but I'm willing to take on that task so that the money, we could apply for grant money through the state because the state of New Hampshire and the federal government gives money to nonprofits for mountain recreation if we find it. So that's another avenue of money outside of donations and multi.
Yeah, I mean, from when Bob was talking, what came in my head is this is almost like a subsidiary, or what, maybe not the right word, of Mountain Lakes, that we may need a different legal entity for it.
And so a
Yeah, that's what I was
nonprofit
talking-
is a great thing, and then, from there, again, I don't have the whole piece of the puzzle out, it's all gonna figure out, but that might be a great way to, create one separate entity to start it, and gather more funds.
Welcome back. We have questions.
Yes.
Okay,
From a contract standpoint with George,
yeah.
what else do you want to see on that? I thought the latest and greatest after it had been through all the legalese was good to go. Is that-
Yes, yeah,
So it is good to go.
yeah,
So you'll send that to George?
yes. I'm gonna send that off to George and I just wanted to, wait till we get going on this. We won't sign it until you guys get a little bit further on.
Yeah.
But I gotta send it off.
Send it to
I will
him,
s-
see if he's willing to sign it as written,
Yeah,
and then,
Just the contract?
yeah.
Okay.
And then,
I'll get that out to him this afternoon.
Put it on your list.
just to make sure we're all on the same page, you're saying us commissioners won't sign it until we get more from the committee. At this point, I just want to, make sure formally and everything, we're going in the right direction. What are the things we need?
The biggest issue is, from listening to people, is the camping. So I think if we can get that laid out and what we're gonna have for locations and stuff like that, how many spots are we gonna have and things like that, that's gonna be a key thing.
And I was also thinking that when we start laying out spots for camping, if we have people bringing tents in, they're just basically, fiberglass stakes, and they don't need to be staked in the ground. We could open the tennis courts up, people could lay tents in there too, as long as there's no, obviously, nailing in of spikes.
Right, they're called freestanding.
Freestanding, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're also considering that area for the,
Better than sleeping on rocks.
I've slept on granite before. So
we actually were thinking of that areas possibly at the picnic area.
it could be that too.
Just to get people off and it's hard and
Although I like the idea of where the
ice
rink
skating, what I
is
said, yeah.
kinda like not a fence, it's like a little.
But for 200 people, I'm not sure that'll
I
be.
mentioned before those wire spools for the cable and whatever, the electrical
yeah.
companies, the big ones, put some of those as tables, you know what I mean? Like turn them on their side. I think that's I see a lot of ski mountains take those.
Yeah.
You could take, we've got all kinds of tables at in the lodge, and to set them up in there, and you could probably get 70, I think we've got seating for 75 or so. And I don't think you're gonna have, if there's 200 people, they're not all gonna be sitting down at once.
No, they'll be sitting at their campers and all over the mountain.
Yeah,
So you put 20 tables out there with chairs.
With chairs, and
and you're good to go.
Yeah.
and we can get some tents to put over them. I know I've got a few good size.
I've got a 12 by 12 and a 10 by 10, and
And
we need to.
That could be the volunteer.
That's volunteer portion, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Exactly.
person who's running the volunteers can do that.
what other questions?
So you want to be able to basically provide to the community a map such like this that shows the camping areas?
Yes.
We had this up before, Mark. Did you see that?
I'm fine, I'm doing it.
I think we can get it done.
That's lovely.
Okay.
You'd include tennis courts.
They're in the,
Yeah, how this work out for you with the quarter?
that thing is like a blast from the past, man.
This is your mom's. I
When was the
love,
last time you saw a corded mouse? Joey's like, I've never seen one before.
Long time ago.
I didn't know they came with cords.
So the orange spots are,
So an aerial map designating like basically the entire layout, the parking, the camping, and the entire usage of the grounds for that weekend event.
The number of campsites, I think, is gonna be important.
Campsites is very important.
So I was gonna take that, and I never got around to it, but take that and say, how many 12 by 12 campsites can we fit in this area, right?
Yeah.
How many for the vehicles from everything I saw was 12 by 20, right? So a camper van wants like 12 by 20. So how many can we fit in whatever areas that we're gonna look to utilize?
You could, and you probably know, you could probably draw it out right on Google or, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you did that.
That's how that
Like,
is.
they got an
But
access.
everything has the area, you know, so there's gonna be a margin of error for sure.
Big monsters down by the dugouts.
Right. Another thought, I mean, if we do have like big RVs, if we have stuff like that, things that are gonna take up a lot of space. There's a big piece of property down at the pit there that I would open up and allow people to pull in there and camp.
We have to be aware,
overnight.
and also probably not allow people with trailers.
Right,
I mean, because that's just gonna make it worse, particularly trailer campers.
right.
So I mean, that's another thing we have to think about, because that's gonna be a logistical nightmare, just getting turned
Just
around
getting
on our
turned around,
property, the way it's laid out.
The land that you just mentioned is not,
No, it's Pond Circle, right down there. So if there's like an overabundance, I was just thinking like we have a dumping spot that we would just open up.
And I think that's a good thing to have as a day of thing and say, okay, yeah, we just can't.
We can't fit
Because
this many.
we don't know, but I think once you lay out the camping area, then we put it out there and say, once we sign the contract, then you put it out there and say, to Eric's point, we put it out and say, hey, who's coming? Who wants to?
Pre-sell them.
And then you can read.
Yeah, that's the
and then you-
point.
We decide.
Exactly.
And I wonder if like, kind of coming up with a traffic flow would help the traffic concern, but would also, I'll have you, like, so maybe you send them, it doesn't matter which way, but maybe you send them in Swiftwater Circle and out Valley Road or vice versa.
Yeah.
And then like you have parking people that, I don't know, volunteers do the parking, or do the event people do?
They will not do that.
So
That's on us.
volunteers are at the beginning of Lodge Lane here, making sure that trailers aren't going in or huge RVs aren't gonna fit in there
We went
either.
even further than that. We don't want them going on all the other roads. because
Okay, so
a lot
you'd
of
have
kids in the
volun-
neighborhood.
you
So
would have a
we would have a
volunteer, like-
parking committee, and there'd be certain designated roads that we may want to have someone stand at during certain
Cool.
high times.
Signage that says like, local traffic only.
Yep.
Right.
Event this way and around.
Then I mentioned that the volunteers can park a green circle. We can either shuttle or walk. It's
Cool.
0.4 miles here. And there's a trail through the woods
Yeah,
that comes out right behind the dugouts. So I wouldn't, I live there, so I wouldn't,
Maybe a volunteer
awesome.
can pull a trailer of people back and forth.
And one of the things from a committee standpoint is you ought to designate that, because that's a key thing. Designate somebody to enlist a committee, or not a committee, but is volunteers for that, for the parking.
Yeah.
Specifically for the parking.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
well, we started to define some
Yeah,
committees.
you know,
We,
a whole little business for the weekend, like, okay, we have got our parking employees, but they're volunteers. I mean, parking volunteers, we've got our, sales, like rec team volunteers doing breakfast sandwiches.
right, see,
Yeah.
all of it, but right now, what you want to do is say, okay, give it the responsibility to one person on the
On the
committee to say, okay, I'll take, and get the folks to do the parking.
Yeah.
And then you look at, then the rec committee, for sandwiches and stuff like that. And,
Yep.
but assign somebody on each.
That's great.
Yeah, we-
So,
yeah,
does
we
anyone
talked
wanna
about that
volunteer?
too.
I mean, I think we need to talk about what, campgrounds, parking at first.
setup breakdown,
What's
and some setup and breakdown, before and afters. Trash, which is kind of the trash committee, but we don't want to call it that. I mean, see, we had talked about.
The trashing committee?
Trashing.
We already got
That
that.
too.
Is the green area there, the parking area on the ballpark and any other green areas, has parking? Or is something else?
Concepts. No, camp.
Orange or
Camping.
Greens camping.
Oranges park.
Greens camping, orange for parking on the,
Can you see the green?
That's a different
wait,
orange.
wait, we're parking on the tennis courts?
No, that's a different orange.
There's two different
Just-
greens.
Oh,
Sorry, there's two different
sorry.
yellows.
I was gonna say, can you see the green? You're blind as me.
Come over here and look at the screen.
No, I don't know, that probably shouldn't have been the same color, I don't know what color
Well, it's a
that
different,
is.
I'm just
it's
trying to-
yellow.
The tennis
Oh,
circle is
it's
like
yellow,
yellow,
just comes out funny.
yeah.
Okay,
I gotta get
whatever.
my phone. This
Okay,
is-
sure.
Sorry.
Whatever.
You know, and one of the things we also realize is that there's probably not enough parking.
Oh, it's gonna be god.
So, you know, we were talking about, local businesses or whatever that we might be able to park at, and we could set up shuttles.
Oh, yeah.
I want to let you guys know, well, yeah, when she said smoke, go ahead.
The other option is, and I've been meaning to do it, but I haven't, because and you don't, if I can do that. This area right in here is all owned by Mountain Lakes.
Oh,
And that is, a lot of that is cleared out. I'm not sure how rough it is. That's where we just did that
The
drilling.
drill for the well, yeah.
Yeah, and
Not a lot of open
Is that,
space
is that
there.
next to Rutherford's logged lot?
Yes.
it's,
Next to Rutherford's logged
Exactly.
lot? Cool.
So
Pretty rough in there.
this, yeah, I haven't walked in there,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I could have Eddie go in there with a thing and just
clean it.
clear it out, because I know there was a lot cleared out there when we did the test, so that may be something for you parking or
Trees
camping.
came down in the last storm there, because that's the path that I was talking, because I'm here. They can walk the road, or they can come in and there's a trail that comes out, down, that's what I mean, someone's put side things, I don't know when you last been in there,
I
someone
haven't
put,
been in there for a while,
yeah, someone put some logs along the side, there's one breakout that goes along the stream, there's one that goes straight over to got some trees that come down and just,
Well-developed trail out there.
I will just say my friend walked it carrying a baby and had no problems, so.
Joey, that clear area with that looks like rocks there.
Yeah.
That's actually his.
Yeah, that's what I'm
he's
saying.
got it cleared out, yeah.
We have the brown spot. I believe the brown spot, and then it goes up to the right there, where the arrow is now.
So you're saying people park on Valley and could walk through that over to the event? Is that what your suggestion is? Okay.
They could park and we can look in that area there and see if there's, I'll take a look at it this afternoon and see if there's something we can do from a district standpoint, just to get that cleared out.
Yeah, I think you're gonna find it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't.
We
So
get-
with parking on Valley Road, would we want to say no parking on one side and open up
Yes.
parking on one side?
Yeah, that would make
one side
Makes sense, and then you're not
Anywhere.
cutting down, right?
Yeah, from say, Gateway down, park on the right-hand side, but not in front of the houses that
Right.
he's gonna
We
make
could
sure.
use the liner,
Right.
not the eyeliner. I know
No.
you like your eyeliner. Talking about the road, line, but
Yeah, no, everything would need to be signed and just say, no parking on this side.
You like eyeliner? Learning something.
Only
here,
side.
Dave.
Yeah, I probably showed up with chimney soot on the
Just while.
So camping, parking are your concerns?
Committee, I want to let you guys know that I've spoken to the rec committee about the efforts here, and they said anything we need, they are also willing to help with all of it. Everyone that was in the committee the other day, last week, very excited about this, so it's just more positivity and more help.
Eric, you're gonna talk to Steve or someone about barriers and stuff like that we could use.
Whose name?
Robbins,
Oh, right, like, yeah, to like kind of direct traffic, like little.
Right.
to 8
anything that they might have,
Or
you might
six.
have a connection on.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
We've got some, but they're gonna be used in in October, yeah, they'll be available. So we've got some of those things that we use for the tall ones that we use for road blockage, and we've used over at the pool. We've got quite a few of those.
we should be able to get some lists of some of the items we have
Yeah.
and where they're located, so when we get closer to the time, we're not scrambling.
Yeah.
All right, so you get the rec committee to do anything. Did you, have you chose somebody to take the parking stuff on?
So parking and camping, I think we need one meeting on both of those. I'm willing to do one if I can, I get formalities.
We haven't met with the full committee yet.
Yeah, I
There's
think we
5
should-
or 6, you need to meet with everybody.
Yeah, you really do.
I think we need more of an understanding of what the task will be too, and like everything at hand first before we volunteer for stuff like that.
Exactly, but the. and
What is
that's-
the mission statement for, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We just talked about the parking and camping And one of the things that we know we're gonna need is a group to tell people where to go. Mark, you're good at that.
Me telling people where to go?
Yeah.
No, but I think Diane
But
was
if you-
kind of
I can even tell the color.
already figuring out a lot of parking.
Well, I've been kind of looking
What
at his
what
map.
you
and
need
I'm
is one person to
Right.
take that response.
Right.
And as you go down your list, you've got a group, and I know you said,
Right.
it's too early, but I think you gotta get started on these things before you get to the end of it and you say, oh crap, we didn't do
Yeah,
this.
it's April.
So if you've got a task, you've got to say, okay, let's designate somebody to take care of that task. You check it off, and then the next meeting, they say, okay, I've got 6 volunteers
Right.
to help out with this.
I think, Eric, what we
You
talked
check
about in
that
our,
off.
what we talked about in our first meeting is essentially all those different things, the food vendor, vendor, person, a parking vendor, a person, a camp, et cetera, pick up, clean up, et cetera. And that we were gonna, then, at our next meeting, put those all together, put together like a mission statement for each one, and then we were gonna divvy those. I thought so I think you're ahead of where we are, but yeah.
I'm not ahead, because if you don't start these things when you're going through them,
Well,
you
Comes at
you
the
end
end.
up,
second time we met, so
What is-
it's a lot.
this is actually the first
Yeah,
official
we've
meeting.
never, we
And
missed that.
Oh, yeah, first.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Yeah.
It's not a formal.
that's why I'm so
I'm just
confused. I'm like, when did you guys meet?
No, well, not me,
is
but,
that-
you know,
I've never
Yeah.
met formally, so I don't.
right, yeah.
What is the actual event date? Do we have it yet?
October 6th.
October 6th? So yeah, I
So
don't,
we need like a parking liaison, right? We need someone that's gonna go get the volunteers for parking, is what Bob.
so I'm not even gonna, I likely won't even be present that day.
Oh.
I have work, so.
I don't think we have enough people here to make all the volunteering yet.
And unfortunately, I have to head back to work, so
Yeah.
I gotta head out here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Take care.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
Okay, Joe, well, I'll email you,
When's the next meeting, you think?
yeah.
So Joey knows.
We'll send you an email with your volunteer
When did you
duties.
say, after 4 usually? Oh, that was Rich.
That was rich. I mean, there's a lot of different options. Third and fourth, so is there a Tuesday that commissioners don't meet?
Yeah, we only meet once a month. so-
When, what is that, the third? Or the second?
It's typically the second Monday.
Because I would propose the third or fourth Tuesday evening would work best for me.
Tuesday evenings, it doesn't have to be Tuesdays evening.
No, that would be best for me though, Tuesday evening, the third or the fourth
Oh,
only.
okay,
But I'm open-minded to other.
yeah, and Rich said after 4, so that's 2
Yep.
people in the early evening at least. I don't know what evening means to you.
Yeah, that's fine. Any time is fine for me. Yep.
Dave, you get out of work at 4:30, so
Yeah, I gotta run. Thanks, guys.
See you, Joe.
see you,
See
Joey.
you soon.
Thanks for coming.
I have baseball games.
Ooh, that's right.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
So that kind of ties me up. That's why I was saying, weekends, if everybody was open for that, but whatever, you can't work around me. I just,
Well, it's important to have as many people available as we
Right,
can, because
right.
obviously we need decisions to be made, so,
right. I think from the camping standpoint, I don't mind taking that on because I've been doing the homework on it anyway and kind of mapping that out. I'd be happy to take
I
on,
volunteered to be the parking lead on that, cause I
Volunteer
ran
whatever
the
you want
parking
to.
company for 3 years.
oh, he even comes with a resume.
Yeah,
unbelievable. We'll have to review that. And also with the camping day, we're gonna also, once you get your idea of how many people we think we may have, we're gonna have to start really, actually, the day of the event, we're gonna have to have assigned camping spots.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
we
gonna
were
have to have
talking
things
about
laid
that
out and
before,
numbered and the whole
basically
thing.
12 by 12 spots for your tent site,
Exactly.
right? And you're number 37, right?
Here's
So
where it is
go
on the
over
map.
there.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave, so like in that day, you'll probably have a few people working with you as
Correct,
volunteers who
yeah.
will understand your mission.
Right.
They'll guide and the cars, and
Absolutely.
we'll probably work together on handling the parking.
Right.
But you know.
Those two are gonna have to go hand in
Car
hand.
camping, you go that way.
Right.
If you're camping in a tent, park over here and bring it over there.
And that's what I think, if we can get a good grasp as to how many people are coming, are you bringing a car camper? Are you bringing a trailer? do you have an RV or are you tent camping, you know? And if we can have 80% of the people that are gonna show up to camp, that we know beforehand what they're showing up with,
Yeah.
then it makes life a lot easier for laying this stuff out. And that's where I'm kind of like like which came first, you know, like to lay out the camping areas, we need to know how, if people are showing up with tents or cars, and then, but I think we can get a rough idea.
Exactly. And the sooner you get that laid out, the sooner we can say, okay, let's send it out to the public.
To the committee, I mean, to the public, yeah.
And at that point, that also may become as Jesus moment, says, we don't have enough space here to do an X number of people.
Well, what happened like at Arrowhead, the other ski area there that's been through all of this, they max out. They have 62 campsites and they're like, we have
That's it.
62 campsites. That's it.
First come, first served.
come, first served. If you don't reserve it beforehand, like don't show up because
that's
we
fine.
can't help you. And he said that what happens down there is all the campgrounds around, because what'll happen is like Twin River Campground will get the RVs. Like some people that travel with their RVs, they're gonna want the amenities, and obviously we don't have that. So when George does the write-up for the Monteau event,
Right.
it's gonna say tent camping available, 60 spots or whatever, you know, car camping is available, no RVs. Maybe we say no
I would
RVs.
say no RVs.
Yeah, it's too big.
No plugins either.
And no play, no
And there's
power.
No place to plug in.
yeah, there's no or whatever they call them, no hookups.
It's,
right?
yeah, it's,
And that's how most of them are, you know, that's what these people are used to. It's the same group of people that are doing it at 13 different events through the season. So they're used to it, but
Could Arrowhead give us the breakdown on what the breakdown of tents and, I don't know, what are they called?
like
The
car
truck-
campers.
the car
or-
campers, yeah.
Van camping.
Van camping.
Yeah, he probably would.
So that would help us, because then we could, I would prefer not to go, oh my God, we're coming into the weekend, like how we're gonna do this.
No.
I would rather
That's not
just,
gonna
I would
happen.
rather just lay it out on your plan now.
Right.
This is what we have available.
Right.
Let's rent those spots out.
Yeah.
And then it's easy. People come with a reservation. I got number one, spot number one, your car person goes, you go that, your parking person, Eric go that way, you know, that type of thing. Everything would be concrete before the whole weekend.
I wonder if the campsite down here on Route 10 and also the one here on 112 could make some space available for tent camping at a fee basis for this event only.
Sure.
So, because I know down here, River Bend, whatever that was called in there, they got a lot of space just off of the big lodge house
Right.
where they don't have any campsites set up. It's just open space. They may be able to take some
Accommodate more.
tents in
Yeah.
right there for a short-term event.
Right.
So I think Mark just volunteered, yes?
And the thing about that is what you want to do is complete our task that you've got
See what
here,
I-
and you want to get that out there, and you see if you're starting to fill it up, and then you go and say,
Sure.
because we want to make sure that we maximize what we can get for revenue on the
Absolutely,
places
no.
that we've got.
I'm not even sure 62 would fit here.
What's that?
62 spots for camping would fit.
Tent sites.
Yeah,
You could fit 60 tent sites.
right, but anything else would be
But when you start getting into those 12 by 20s,
for the campers.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we just say,
Behinds.
no RV camper here, but give some options, say, here's, this place is here, this place is here, this place here, see if they have a spice available.
Originally, when I started this conversation a couple years back, I talked with the guy that's in charge of the North Haverhill Fairgrounds, and they were open to opening up there because they have all the plugins and
They
everything.
do have the
And I have all that paperwork from them.
Yeah.
He didn't quote me a price, but he basically just said, yeah, we could make that available. The
John?
guy that's, no, he's indoor. It's the guy that's in charge of the outdoor stuff. I can't remember. I'd have to look back.
It's good to know, that's a great space.
Yeah, yeah. So they were open to it, but what the thought with after talking to Anthony from ESC was kind of like it could be done here, like it could be done closer, and you could make some money that way.
Has anything
That's
been-
the thing that we want
Yeah.
to get the revenue on
Yeah, we want-
as much as we can.
Well, the people want to be close, right? Like the
Yeah.
people
It's
want to
easier.
stay here.
Sure. You come off the mountain and you gotta get a new pair of shoes, and you wanna know you can go
Yeah.
back to your campsite,
Right.
pick up some stuff and get back on
Yeah,
your bike.
and be right on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because you could, like, the parking guys already can figure it out. But you can park those things along the road and just keep them off the road, but along the side of the road and stuff. And then you've got all
The car camping.
the larger one.
Oh yeah,
But if you get the smaller ones, then you just figure out, because for an RV, or somebody's got I mentioned they use a lot of pop-ups in these things too. So that what they do is they take the pop-up, put it in there, and then park the car somewhere else.
Right.
Because it's not gonna be, in that way you maximize what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
One of the
yeah,
RV sites is 3 tents sites, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, RVs, I think we just say no RVs. But give
there's
them
not to
options,
share.
give them options.
Well, you just put like a foot, right? Like if it's more than 22 feet or something, because you got like little mini Winnebagos, and that would be fine.
Yeah, we'd
But
probably.
like 53-foot RV
Well, yeah,
is something completely different.
yeah.
So I think if we came up with a foot, nothing longer than 20, whatever. Know what I mean?
oh, I know what you mean, yeah, I know what you mean, it's just been enough campsites to know what it gets like when campers show up with their campers.
Right.
And they all come at the same time,
They're all doing the dance.
they're all doing the
Yeah.
dance.
You take a 24-foot camper, like the one that we rented,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Those things don't take up any space.
I mean, you don't take up any space.
12 by 24.
It's a small,
Yeah, but you gotta have
vehicle.
space in front of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you take
Turnaround time,
Around
good
it,
space.
yeah.
turnaround time, you got a place to get the truck in there or a car in there. If there's, I mean, it's gotta be a dedicated space for RVs. And I'd say, sure, they don't take up that much space, but if you have a site which is really set out for tents, you really gotta be careful bringing RVs in because it's a totally different world.
Oh, sure.
Dave, do you want to look at the map? Because that'll
Yeah.
give us the
Yeah, I'll
the
lay that
story
all
of
out,
what
and
we
I'll-
can.
I'll take that on and I'll send it out to you.
Obviously, the first step.
Yeah, I started with the kind of big overview, but I'll hone in on those camping areas and see if we can come up with some more,
Yeah, but
Ideas for that.
Try to maximize our profits here, that's for sure.
yeah.
Is that all we really, you pretty much stayed on with this
I think
meeting?
that's
It's
the
really
big
been,
stuff,
really
yeah.
been the mountain biking, right?
Yep.
We discussed like a grand scheme for the future in the beginning, but then, to kickstart things off, we have to have a success with this.
Yeah.
And preparing this will start the process for all the others.
That's fine, yeah, I think that's probably the right way to go, that's the right way to go. Because I would say ski mountain, scratch that off the list for the near future. To turn that area into a ski area, just forget about it,
I disagree with you, but that's fine.
fine.
Yeah. I think that, that can be continued as a vision for as long as it takes to get it going, I wouldn't, if we don't start, it never goes, that's all.
So what you're saying, Eric, is that you'll be talking it up with the people you know and the contacts you know, but this committee really is going to concentrate on that, but we're not taking that off the table, and we're thinking that is the future goal.
I believe so. I thought that's what I talked to Bob about too when we first started this, was that is this a committee just for this one biking event, or is this a committee for the revitalization of Monteau?
It's revitalization of Monteau, but the focus of this committee is this race right now.
Does this
The,
committee have an end date, like after the 6th or something?
We didn't make it an ad hoc for that reason, because it is gonna be continued.
Right.
But the goal of the committee right now is to, and I should have written this up and I just haven't had a chance, but the goal of this committee is to look at all the possibilities of this specific event and what do we need to do to make this event successful?
Right.
The other stuff is beyond that, so that should be the focus of the committee right now.
And we won't be able to sell or go forward on the other stuff unless this comes off without.
That's exactly
with
right.
fewer mistakes.
No, we want to run this professionally and set up our amenities as nice and as well done as possible to entice people to wanna come, to make that money for that first event, so that then the community support for the future stuff should be an easy sell if we can prove to the community that we can do this properly.
Do we have anybody in our community that could do a rendering of what the clubhouse could look like if we get money from events? Because if you look at the outside, it's tired.
Yep.
And then if we look at what it could look like, newly painted and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Is there,
I don't know.
know anyone that can do that? This is my marketing stuff.
Yeah.
We're showing them what we're doing,
Yeah.
what we're trying to do. This is what our goal is. something like that.
No, I don't know anybody, unless we could do something that could take a photograph of the lodge and basically enhance that with photo editing.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I don't know, I mean, that's not my,
Not my thing.
bailiwick.
But that's like, you know, and then here's a question for, you know, knowledge of the future. Let's say we made,
Rocking pretty fast here, Perry.
let's say we made $10,000. That's just a random number, and we make it an even number. Where does that money go? It goes to the general fund, and how do we choose from there? Is it the same as like rent from the lodge?
This comes in as unanticipated revenue.
Okay.
So with unanticipated revenue, that would get added in to the general fund, which would end up in the surplus or not surplus, fund balance.
Fund balance, yeah.
We used to call it surplus, it's fund
And then we
balance.
decide at the next,
And then-
at the
then we
meeting
would
next year,
How to
what we do with it.
But
Yeah.
that would be a specific number. And then next year, when we did the warrant articles, we'd take a look at that and say, okay, we should really be applying this to
The
a
lodge.
lodge or something
lands, the
better, yeah,
And
exactly.
that minimizes any taxes we may have, or
What's that?
does that minimize any taxes we may have?
Yeah, because we're gonna have to do something with that building. at some
Right,
point.
right.
We've got
Usually it's
plans.
in the same year though, so
What's that?
usually it's within the same year you get taxed. So if the time you bring in the revenue, right, versus we spend it next year.
Like that tax, again, it comes in and it goes into
A reserve,
yeah, it's
capital
fund
fund.
balance. And so we can't actually expend that money.
right,
Until we designate it to a specific project.
It's kind of like when we sell the land.
But that would definitely have a positive impact on the tax base.
But we aren't responsible for taxes on any of that revenue that we bring in,
No, no.
because it's district.
okay.
Yeah, we don't pay tax on any buildings or anything like that, so.
I mean, if we had vendors come in to sell food, they would have to collect the taxes at the, and they're in
that.
charge of that.
That's
We're
all
not.
their sales,
all it
yeah.
is.
We're not, yeah,
They would just be paying us rent,
yes.
like vendors. Does anyone have any other
What did we decide about next meeting?
next meeting? I think we should have another meeting by the end of this month. Maybe the 30th. Unless someone wants to propose a different date than Tuesdays.
It's the 30th.
I don't really
is a
like Tuesdays, but I can make it work. I can't guarantee I can be here for the whole meeting,
Can you
so.
look at a Saturday morning or something like that?
It's not that. I suppose we could. I think a lot of people wanna have the weekends, you know.
I prefer not a Saturday if possible. It's when I go do things and travel or
That's Rich,
hike or,
I come up there on the weekends, basically saying like I wanna be relaxed. You know, so,
and evenings don't work.
Evenings don't work.
Well, they do for Be Better, Monday or Thursdays generally. I mean, I have 5 board meetings a month on other boards with my condominiums that I manage, so,
We'll
That's
be that
not done.
position, yeah.
yeah, I mean.
yes, indeed.
It seems like a hard task to get that.
To try to get everybody's schedules lined up. Yeah, it's easier for me to bail from work than bail from Little League.
Yeah, okay.
So I could
That's
Always true.
do it,
You're the problem.
yeah.
When do your games start?
Practice 5 o'clock.
As long as I have an option of either being in person or being
We
virtual,
can always do
I can
that.
do Tuesdays during the day.
Can we do Tuesdays at like 4 or is that too?
Is that too late for you, Bob? I mean, Dave?
Oh, it would cut you short, because.
Which stuff?
Yeah, 3 would be,
Yeah,
does that work? No?
well, I was trying to accommodate Rich,
Oh,
Joe.
because they said after 4?
Yeah,
I could do Tuesday at 4, but it's gonna be a
yeah.
1 hour long meeting and I'm out.
And I have a
'Cause I gotta
meeting the
be-
third Tuesday of the month at 4.
You gotta be at the game at 5?
the kids have to be there at 5, so I should be there before them. I try to get there
You're not gonna have much time for a meeting.
really like 4:30, you're right. I mean,
Meetings for committees like this, if you structure them, they shouldn't take more than an hour. And if you know what you're doing and you've got an agenda lined up, you should go down. Water committee meetings,
an hour.
it's generally an hour.
Or
We
less.
cover a lot of information in those things. And if they're structured correctly and you bang through them, it shouldn't take more than an hour.
How about first thing in the morning, like an 8 o'clock meeting? We have a
that
water.
works for me, but it
I
didn't.
wake up in the morning.
The other day,
Yeah, well,
Come on.
set the alarm early.
we couldn't get
could
out
do that.
today. Rich had to leave, Joe had to leave, and those guys all wanted after 4, so they wanted to be on the committee too. I say we aim for the 30th at 4. To visit, we'll come up on that in the next meeting. Between Dave and I, we'll have an aerial map highlighted for parking concepts and camping concepts with a number of campsites. Dave, I can definitely help you with all this. I'm not.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Do we have a cute name for this? Such a woman thing to ask, right?
For the committee?
The committee. Just kidding.
The baby moose.
The big-
How'd that go over you, Dave, when you changed the mountain?
You saw my face.
I know.
When he said it to me.
How long did it take us to
I
talk
just
about
think of a
that?
baby moose on a mountain bike or a snowboard and sell everything.
On your own car.
I gotta get going too, guys.
All right, the 30th, I got it.
30th at 4.
Alright, I'll email everyone, I'll create an agenda, you guys can comment on the agenda if you want to update anything else. Dave, me and you, I'll go get a drone photo as long as my drone's still working,
Yeah.
it's a crash.
Yeah.
I'll try to get some other photos that we could draw on, that are a little bit closer, more clear maybe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'll
some
start doing
items we
some-
want done by that meeting so we can,
Yeah. I'll revisit all of our other tasks and checklists and update them, and I'll send them to you, and we'll communicate, via email to be prepared more efficiently next.
did you get a spreadsheet budget from someone who's done this before? So I can take our stuff and massage it into our budget instead of creating from ground zero?
You have a budget sheet, right?
No, I'm talking about something a little more intense than that.
Oh.
I mean,
That's-
it has
that's
all the same information, I don't know what would be different about a different style except visual.
I'll spend some time on it.
Yeah,
I think that's a good summary budget.
this,
Yeah,
what's behind you. That thing?
yes.
Yeah, so it's,
Good summary budget, but it's not an expenditure list of month to month and what we're spending and what's in each category and all that kind of stuff. Kind of what I'm used to doing.
oh, okay, yeah, I'm happy to have you show me what you think is a better approach.
Do you use Google for all your stuff, like all the
Yeah,
Mountain Lake stuff? Can you just make a drive shared folder
absolutely,
that's just labeled as Mountain Lakes, whatever this committee's called?
yes.
And then
We're the bike committee
we
now.
can
Like event.
dump all of this stuff.
Revitalization.
I didn't know I volunteered for that. I thought I volunteered for a bike committee, but that's
Well,
okay.
Then everything can live there, right? So we have all these maps, so we're not all looking for it, right? Like everything has a home base, it can all live there. Share that with the committee, so that everybody has that as a dumping ground.
Good idea.
The only thing we didn't bring up on my agenda that I was gonna talk about was a concept of trail volunteers for like a biannual caretaking and supervision. We mentioned
Yeah.
in private meetings before that might be a good idea separately of this committee.
Well, why don't we just set up a social committee for the club, for the whole place, because that would go under.
It's a good idea. Yeah,
No, I think having I always had good turnouts whenever I had the trail cleanups, because we gotta go through those other trails.
They're a mess.
So to do that at some point, some random Sunday,
yeah.
I think works good. So, yeah, no, I'm in on that. And really, once a year seems to be sufficient. I mean,
Well, I was thinking like we meet
Biannual.
one time
yeah.
and then we go out and do the work the other time.
Oh, yeah.
So that's two.
Yeah, yeah,
You meet 2 times a year.
sure.
One time on site, one time just to plan it.
Yep.
That was all I was thinking. But we can go in a different, we can talk about that first. So anyway, it's 2:14.
I know, I
And
got
I'm
it.
calling this meeting to adjournment. Thank you all.
Good man, I'll second that if I need
Hey,
to.
guys, see ya.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. I left a guy on a job site like 2 hours ago.
You go wake him up.
I don't know.